Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. Now, if you're looking at the thumbnail and title of this video, today is a first. Today we'll be responding to Wolfballs, which is a guy who runs his own Reddit alternative called wolfballs.com. So what could Wolfballs have possibly done to warrant getting a TTOR video response? Well, it's really quite simple. He lied about how much it costs to host and run a video sharing site, and he lied about Rumble and Odysee and Gab being pro-free speech. And to a lesser extent, he lied about which of these sites were available and being used prior to the 2020 election. So, with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and respond to his post, which you can see right here on the screen. The post was made basically a day ago, maybe closer to 2 days ago. I can't really tell. So the title of the post by Masterofballs is Gab TV is open to everyone for free and will likely be monetized in the future. So that is his incentive to make this post, and that is true. I have heard that Gab TV has now opened it up to where people can upload to the site even if they're not a pro member of Gab, and apparently the limit is 3 uploads a day. Which, if that's true, that's a pretty good accommodation there to make to the free people. Instead of having a limit as far as how many videos you can upload, they made it how many you can upload a day. That should make things easier for them, especially if users use something like Handbrake to reduce the file sizes of their videos before they upload them to Gab TV. But anyway, this is where the lies begin. This is really great news for free speech in the video department. Hosting video is extremely expensive and can't be done cheaply. Time out. Gotta stop you right there, Master of Balls. What you just said is a lie. And it's possible, highly likely in fact, that you're just ignorant and you don't know that what you just said is a lie, because a lot of these alt-tech grifters like Andrew Torba, Ray Vahey, the folks at Odysee and Rumble, they have you believing, they want you to believe, that it costs tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in every single month in order to be able to host and run and maintain and have a fully developed video sharing site. And I'm here to tell you right now that that is all a pack of lies straight from the pit of hell. And how do I know that this is a pack of lies straight from the pit of hell? Because I'm hosting my own video sharing site right now. It is called Quarter, which you can see right here on the screen. Quarter is my open source alt-tech alternative to YouTube and all these censorious alt-tech platforms that actually champions freedom of speech in practice as well as in word. And I have a fully developed video sharing site here at Quarter. You can see the TTOR channel right here on the screen with my uploads. But yes, I have a very clean user interface. I like the logo and name of my site, obviously, which I made myself. But more importantly, this site is fully developed. It has full 1080p HD video upload capacity. It has live streaming. It has free restreaming. It has public playlists. It has an easy-to-use comment moderation system. It has chat rooms that you can not only do video chats with people on, but you can also live stream to your channel from these chat rooms. And there's an insight currency called $quarter that you earn every time you get a view on your video. And if you build up enough views on your videos, you'll earn enough $quarter to be able to promote either individual videos of yours or your channel on the main page of the site. Basically a way for you to promote yourself to the site without me or any other future moderators of Quarter taking any kind of editorial position on deciding who gets promoted and who doesn't. Would you like to take a guess, Master of Balls, how much it costs me to run Quarter as far as my month-to-month charges go? I'll tell you exactly how much it costs. It costs me less than $100. And I know you might be thinking to yourself, that's not possible, Justin. Just look at all the amazing features and functionality that you have on your site and look how clean the user interface is. Surely you must be spending big money in order to have your site online and operational. That's what Brandon Green thought when I sat down with him recently on the Let's Go Brandon Green podcast. But the truth of the matter is, it cost me less than $100 at the moment to run Quarter, as far as my month-to-month costs. When I bought the dedicated server that this website is hosted on, I paid for 6 months in advance, and 6 months in advance on the particular server I got me a 20% discount, and it only cost me $504. So I am paying literally like somewhere around $80 a month to have Quarter online right now. Now, of course, over time, once we start getting way more users and way more traffic, eventually we're going to need to upgrade servers. Not just upgrade the dedicated server that this site is being hosted on, but we're also going to have to buy some dedicated servers for video storage and for video encoding. And when that time comes, the cost of running the site will go up over $100. But still, even in that scenario, not going to be nearly as expensive to run and operate Quarter on a month-to-month basis as these alt-tech grifters at BitChute, Odysee, and Gab and whatnot would have you believe. It's not nearly that expensive. If I was making $1,000 a month as far as a budget for Quarter to work with due to fan donations, I would have a site that is capable of handling millions of users and storing the videos that come with millions of users. Because the real cost of running a website is not just existing and having people access the site, it's video storage. Video storage is where the real cost comes in. But until that day comes, Quarter is being operated on a budget of less than $100 per month. So as you can see, Wolfballs, when you claim that video hosting is extremely expensive and can't be done cheaply, that is a pack of lies. You've been lied to about how much it costs to host and run a video sharing site, especially one that's fully developed. You've been completely lied to by a lot of people about that. Hosting a video sharing site is actually a lot cheaper than you think. You just have to know where to look. You have to actually do your own research into how much things costs. And you have to know what the actual cost is when running a video site. It's not just having the site and having features. That's not expensive at all. The real cost over time is the storage of videos and, to a lesser extent, having bigger and better video encoding servers to make the processing and uploading of videos faster. But it's not very expensive to start out, and even when it does get more expensive, it doesn't get nearly as expensive as the lying grifters would have you believe. But now that we've got that out of the way, let's get on to the next part. I can't link the video, but it's an ad on Gab right now. We now have Rumble, Gab TV, Odysee, and PeerTube instances. For the midterms and the next presidential election, we are in a much better place than we were last election, where all of big tech censored all of anyone right of, do whatever we tell you or else. I'll try to upload some content there eventually. So what Masterofballs would like you to believe is that prior to the 2020 election, we didn't have Rumble or Gab TV, Odysee, or PeerTube instances like we do now. And because we do now, well, we have a whole litany of free speech video sharing sites, and they're not going to be able to censor our information like they did in the 2020 election. Wow. Let me break this down to you, Masterofballs. Rumble, Odysee, and PeerTube instances existed before the 2020 election. Those sites were starting to get popular before the 2020 election happened. The only site that you listed that didn't exist before the 2020 election was Gab TV. And Gab TV, well, it's not that impressive, to be honest. And it's not a free speech site. As a matter of fact, none of these are real free speech sites, especially Rumble and Odysee. And what proof do you think that I don't have? Well, let me show you the proof that I actually have that proves that Rumble and Odysee and Gab TV are not free speech sites. First of all, I have here my Odysee censorship playlist where I have 3 different videos. First video is about how Odysee has a hate speech policy just like BitChute and YouTube do. Furthermore, when you actually go to the link that has the hate speech policy for Odysee in that video description box, what you'll discover is that Odysee's hate speech policy actually equates words to violence. The people who run Odysee are woke lefties when it comes to speech. The second video is responding to an Odysee moderator who admitted that Odysee is not a real free speech site. And then the third video on my playlist is about how Odysee shadow bans people and they signed an exclusive deal with a convicted revenge pornographer, Ethan Ralph. Furthermore, in addition to the videos I've done about Odysee, Scott Cunningham, or Scott C. Business, put out a video 3 months ago called What Happened to Library Odysee? And as you can see from the thumbnail of his video, what he talks about in the video is that library isn't actually decentralized. If you get censored on Odysee, what the Odysee folks will tell you is that, yeah, Odysee is centralized and we can censor you there, but the Library TV app that Odysee is built on top of, that is not centralized, and we couldn't censor those even if we wanted to. Well, Scott C. Cunningham proved that this was a lie by looking up the Library TV channel of a guy whose Odysee channel got scrubbed, and he found that he was scrubbed off of Library TV as well. The fact that you can get scrubbed off of Library TV as well as Odysee as an act of censorship against you actually proves that Odysee is not decentralized. Odysee and Library are completely centralized just as much as YouTube is. And they have the same hate speech policy that YouTube does. They shadow ban people just like YouTube does. They strike exclusive deals with convicted revenge pornographers. Does that sound like a free speech site that's going to champion your freedom of expression so that you can have a chance to make the world the way you want it in a future election? Does that really sound like Odysee to you? Doesn't sound like it to me. Well, what about Rumble? Well, I only have one video about Rumble, and it's about how they rolled out a hate speech policy the day that Donald Trump joined their site and created a channel there. Rumble has a hate speech policy that is just like YouTube's, just like BitChute's, just like Odysee's, but theirs is funny because they specifically target anti-Semitism. On Rumble, you're not allowed to make bigoted claims against Jews, even though bigoted claims against any group of people, much less Jews, is legally protected by the First Amendment of the United States of America, and Rumble is now headquartered in the U.S. after Trump's media company acquired them. So, yeah, crazy stuff going on right there. But yeah, Odysee and Rumble, clearly not free speech sites. The fact that they have hate speech policies alone proves that they are not free speech sites. Well, what about Gab and Gab TV? Well, Gab TV doesn't have a hate speech policy, but that doesn't mean that Gab TV is a free speech site. Gab TV is run by Andrew Torba and his crew, which is the same group of people who in September of 2020 banned Brett Keane from their site. And then in January of 2021, Terrence Popp, Maddie Rose, and Charlie Brown AU were all banned from Gab within days of each other, right after Andrew Torba's homosexual brother joined the moderation team at Gab, and about 5 months after the Executive Council of Australian Jewry put out a report where they listed Charlie Brown AU and Maddie Rose as anti-Semitic online personalities, which I talked about in my video called Andrew Torba Lies About Not Censoring Anti-Semitic Users to Appease Jewish Groups. That's a video that has over 750 views, and that is one that is definitely worth your watch. because Andrew Torba does a lot of ranting and raving about how the Jews are behind all the evil in the world and that he will never bow the knee to authoritarian Jewish groups like the ADL and whatnot and censor people that upset them. And yet, he already has in the past. He already has. I mean, we're talking about something that occurred a year and a half ago. This is not like, oh, back in 2016, 2017. This is 2021 censorship that we were talking about. Furthermore, there's other videos where we talk about Gab censorship, like how for 8 days Gab banned links to the satire site Real Raw News from being shared, but then within a couple hours after I uploaded and shared my video about it, they undid the ban. And then, of course, when people started attacking Andrew Torba for donating tens of thousands of their donation dollars to Nick Fuentes, he went full gatekeeper on them. And when Joe Pritch criticized Andrew Torba for doing it, he actually started getting censored by Gab. His subscribers on Gab TV started to get removed. His followers were forced to unfollow his account, and then they had to refollow, and they sent messages to Joe saying, yeah, this happened, and we don't get why. And he's also been shadow banned on Gab, or at least he was for a period of time, for daring to criticize Andrew Torba. And then, of course, in the time since then, Nick Fuentes has come out of the closet as being a lying grifter and a censorship-loving authoritarian. So, yeah, it makes Andrew Torba look even worse, that he was willing to donate tens of thousands of his fan donations to a guy who literally is a censorship-loving authoritarian. But then again, back when John Matz was running Parlay and censoring people there, Andrew Torba falsely claimed afterwards that John Matz was a free speech guy, even though John Matz himself admitted that he was banned from Parlay because he wanted to censor people even more than he already was at the time. And of course, Andrew Torba has gone way off the deep end in recent times, because not only has he talked about wanting to build his own version of the Facebook metaverse, but he's also talking about building Gab communes across the country that are similar to Jonestown. So yeah, I don't trust Gab TV to be a free speech site, not at all. If the same people running that site are the same people who censor over on Gab Social, well then you know that censorship on Gab TV is going to happen. As a matter of fact, it already did in the case of Joe Pritch. People sent multiple messages to him a few months back talking about how they found themselves unsubscribed from his Gab TV channel even though they didn't do it. Which is a tactic that YouTube does to limit the size and growth of someone's channel. So yeah, I don't really trust Gab TV at all when it comes to freedom of speech. And yeah, I just don't think I'm going to use it, even though they've now made it to where I can upload there without having a Gab Pro membership. So as you can see, Master of Balls, not only did we have most of these sites, and these sites were getting popular before the 2020 election, but they are actually censorious sites run by censorious people. So they are not the free speech advocates that you think they are. There are not that many free speech sites on the internet in the truest sense of the word. I mean, there's Joshu TV, and there's Loop, which are run by my friend Josh. And then, of course, I run Creation Social and Quarter. I am a real free speech advocate. My sites are the actual champions of freedom of speech, as well as Josh's sites. We actually believe in real freedom. And we are not impressed with the lying grifters and how they've lied to people like you, claiming that, oh yeah, it's very expensive and it's not cheap to host and run a video sharing site. And yeah, our sites are totally for free speech, even though we have all of the same draconian community guidelines and policies and AI censorship systems that YouTube has. Yeah, but we're the real free speech people because we're the ones running that controlled system. No, real freedom is found on sites like Quarter and Joshu TV and Creation Social and Loop. That's where real freedom is found. Real freedom is also found in messaging apps like Delta Chat, which are actually decentralized and run by people who actually believe in freedom of speech. So yes, that's all I have to say to Master of Balls at this point. Clearly, he is completely ignorant about reality and how it works. Primarily, he's ignorant about video hosting costs, and he's completely ignorant about Rumble, Gab TV, and Odysee, as far as whether or not they're actually free speech sites and who runs them. So, yes, Master of Balls, the record has been corrected. Your lies have been exposed, and it is now up to you to repent of your lies. Repent in sackcloth and ashes, and we will forgive you. But if you double down on this stupidity, you're going to expose yourself for who you really are.